G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make this really pretty flower. This flower is great because you can make them in all different colours and then you can button on the flower that matches your outfit. There is a free written pattern for this flower and it's located on my website. The link that you need is in the description box. The yarn that we are using for this project is from redheart.com. Redheart.com is a great place to buy yarn. It's also a really great place to get inspiration for colours and for your next project. So let's get started on the lesson.
For our supplies, we're going to need 3 different coloured yarns. You can make this all in the same colour and you can also use 2 different colours if you would like to. We're going to need a crochet hook to go with your yarn, but you want something that's going to give you firm tension. I'll use a 4.5mm crochet hook. This is also a US size 7. If you're using, this is worsted weight or 10 ply. If you're using 8 ply or double knit, you will need probably a 3.5 or an F size crochet hook. The yarn I'm using today is Red Heart Super Saver. This is Shocking Pink, Bright Yellow and Perfect Pink. Like I said, you can use less than 3 colours if you don't have enough. You won't need very much yarn at all. This doesn't use up very much wool, so that's good. And it's great for using up all those smaller pieces. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a yarn needle with a large eye. And this is optional. We can make this into a flower that buttons on. So if you don't know what I mean, this would be sewn to a project. And this is my test flower that I did. It's going to be a hole in the middle. Now if you don't close up the hole and completely close it off, you can actually button this onto projects. So you can actually button, see how it fits through the hole? So this button is probably about 12mm. It's not very big. See if we can measure it without dropping it. So it's about 1.5 centimetres or 15mm. And it's just over 1/2 inch. But if you don't have the same size button, it doesn't matter. You will need one around about the same size. Look, I've got a collection of buttons here. And we've got ones that are smaller. I don't think I've got any bigger ones. No, that's about the same size. But because we're adjusting this with the magic ring, you can pull it as tight as you need it. And so you can use a different size button. But you're going to need one around about that same size. So you're going to need one of those. Pop them aside. And I've just chose pink because it goes with the wall. So whatever colour you want. So we're going to start with a magic ring. And the way I do my magic rings is I just grab the short end in one hand and the yarn in the other. And I just place one on top of the other. And I just grab the 2 strands at the top. But we want to make that a little bit bigger because we do need to fit quite a few stitches in there. So I pick up my yarn, grab my crochet hook, put it through the middle, grab the working yarn, pull through, and I just do a chain to secure that all in place. So first of all we want to work 12 half double crochet into the center. You will need to use the half double crochet. You probably could use a single crochet as well because we're using front and back loops, so you could work a single crochet if you wanted. But I'm going to choose the half double crochet. And we're going to need 12 altogether. If you want 6 petals, because you actually have got like 2 rounds. Like this big ones here, they're actually on the same round. But because we've got so many in there, they need to be separated. Otherwise it just lays all wrinkly. So we've actually got 12 petals all the way around. But if you want 10 petals, you can do 10 stitches. So this part here you can do 10. but I'm going to go with 12 because that's what I did before. So we want to yarn over, go into the middle of the ring, going to work a half double crochet. We want to do that 12 times. And then just make sure you've got 12. Yep. And now we want to join to the first stitch. So going under both loops. And then just join with a slip stitch. And what you want to do, see how slip stitches here, make sure that's tight. Okay, so we don't want to pull our centre too small because our button needs to be able to fit through that. At the moment the hole's way too big because it's too loose, but we will fix that up later. So now we're going to change colour. So we're going to cut this off. And we're just going to finish that off. It is so unnatural not for me not to tighten that up there. So if you see me going for it, that's why. It just feels normal to tighten that up. So this whole flower only has 3 rounds, even though it looks like it has a lot more. So our next one, we're going to join our yarn. We're going to join it into the front loop only. So see how there's 2 loops on my crochet hook? There's a front one and a back one. We want to join it in that front one. So I'm going to grab my light pink. I'm going to join that in there. And in the front loop we want to work chain 1. So we're going to pull that tight. Chain 1 and 3 half double crochet into the same front loop. We're going to do a chain 1. We're going to slip stitch into the same space. So the same space where we've done all our stitches, I'm going to slip stitch down into there. We're also going to slip stitch into the next front loop. And that just gets us in the right position to start our next petal. So we're going to chain 1. 3 half double crochet into the back loop, front loop. Chain 1, slip stitch into the same front loop that we've just worked all those stitches into. And we're going to repeat this around. So slip stitch into the next front loop. Chain 1 and 3 half double crochet all in the same stitch. Chain 1 and slip stitch into the front loop, so in the same one. So in each front loop around we've got a slip stitch, a chain 1, 3 half double crochet, a chain 1 and a slip stitch. And we're going to repeat this all the way around, and as we get around this will start to ruffle up, but that's exactly what we want it to do, so don't worry if it does that. It's going to look like we've got way too many petals for our ring. So when with your last stitch, you're just going to slip stitch into the base. I'll show you what I did. I just slip stitched down into that first stitch where we did our first lot of petals. And now we are going to change colour, so we can cut off our yarn. And I recommend sewing in your ends right now, because these ends will get in your way and they will frustrate the life out of you. So I just go underneath all the stitches here. And then just pull that through. So once you have all your ends sewn in, remember this one we don't need to sew in yet because we need to know how big our button is. See how it doesn't sit properly? And that's what it's going to do. It's not something that you've done wrong. That's just what it's going to do. We'll fix it. It won't stay like that, because what we do is every second petal will come forward. So this one comes forward, that one goes back. This one comes forward, that one goes back. This one comes forward, that one goes back. But we do that at the end, otherwise they just all mess up again and just annoy you. So now that we've used the front loops of the flower, we're going to use the back loops of the yellow round, which is round 1. So we're going to put our crochet hook under any of the back loops. Grab your new colour. So we can join into any of the back loops. So we just join in our new colour. And also me using new colours will make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. So we're working in the back loop of round 1. And we want to chain 2. If you've got really loose chains or really tight chains, you could adjust the amount of chains that we're doing here. But I'm going to do a chain 2, and then I'm going to work 4 double crochet all into the back loop. Chain 2, and then slip stitch. Sorry, I didn't show you. Slip stitch into the same stitch that we've just put all those 4 double crochets into. And then we're going to slip stitch into the next back loop. So this is just very similar to the first round that we did. So finding the next back loop and trying to find an easy way to show you where it is. See how the petals here, this pink one, well, just there is a back loop. So just there, oops, just there, that's where your back loop is. So we're going to slip stitch into that one, chain 2, 4 double crochet into that same back loop, I'm going to chain 2 again and slip stitch down into that same stitch that we've worked into. So it's that back loop that we've just been working into. And again we're going to slip stitch over to the next back loop. So see, this is our pink petal, the back loop is just there. And again we're going to repeat this all the way around. So it's chain 2, 4 double crochet, chain 2. You could even just do a chain 1 instead of doing a chain 2, and slip stitch down into the same stitch that we've been doing all that into. Oops. That slip stitch is a little bit tricky, as you can see. Making a right mess. What has happened? Split my wool. Or yarn, as American people call it. So go back in there, we're going to slip stitch. You've probably already done yours like 7 times over. There we go, slip stitch. So we're going to repeat this all the way around. So it's slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 2, 4 double crochet, chain 2, slip stitch in the same, and slip stitch in the next. Repeat this around, and again this pink round, a dark pink round, will go roughly like the light pink one. And it will get a little bit tricky the further that the closer that we get to the end. It does get a little bit tricky, and you may have to just sort of poke your feathers. There's no feathers in this pattern. Poke your petals out of the way, and then sort of work them like that. It doesn't matter how much you squash it up, because we can fix it at the end. So how'd you go? It was a little bit frustrating of those last few petals, but if you stick with it, you can do it. So I've finished off, and I've slip stitched again into the first petal. Just put my crochet hook in that hole and made a slip stitch. So now we can finish off, so we can cut our yarn and then pull it through. And then sew in our ends. Actually, I'll do that off camera. Now at the moment, it looks like someone chewed it up and spat it out. So I'm going to sew my ends, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it. Alright, so I've sewn in my ends, apart from this one, because we're going to show you what to do with that. And it still looks like it's been chewed up. So what we're going to do is, we look at the light pink petal, which is the first lot we did. And we grab the first one and we push it down. The next one goes back. The next one comes into the middle. Now I'm just going to hold my thumb on top of them all until I finish the round. So the next one goes back, the next one goes in, the next one goes back, and the next one comes in. We just repeat this all the way around. It doesn't matter if you let go of them, like I just did. But we're just getting some to sit to the back and some to sit to the front. And then you'll find that you've gone all the way around. What I like to do is grab the back ones, give them a gentle tug, just so that they sit at the back. And then you can just need to adjust a little bit, maybe. Okay, so then we grab the back petals, so the darker pink ones, and we do exactly the same thing. One comes forward, the next one goes back. One comes forward, the next one goes back. And repeat around. And it does take a few times of just playing around with it to make it sit properly. And you might have to just flatten out the ones at the back. And again the ones in the front. Giving him a gentle tug as well. Even if you've sort of got to twist it like I just did. Because you just want to make the stitches now, you're telling them that you want them to be in the front. Because at the moment, before that, they would sort of all just screwed up. So you've just got to readjust them. Once you do it, it'll stay there. Okay. So with this hole in the middle, you're going to grab your button. So this is where you could use a big button and you wouldn't have to sew up the hole. But I've got quite a small one, and that's the biggest pink one that I've got. So we're going to stick with that. That's all I've got. So now we pull the centre. We want to pull it so that there's a little bit of give when we put our button through, because if there's no give, this will just fall off. So it still needs a little bit So don't pull it too tight, otherwise you won't be able to get your button through. So this button will actually be sewn to a project. So I need a little bit more. Do it gradually, because before you know it, you've tightened up the hole too much. So once you get it to the point that you need, then grab your yarn needle and just put it to the back. Which one's the back? Oh, we're on the back already. Yeah, so put your yarn to the back and we're going to secure it off because we've got the hole the size we need. So we want to secure it off so that it doesn't get any bigger, or doubt that it'll get smaller, but we don't want it to get smaller either. So we're just going to secure that down and then we can sew in our ends. I'm just going under the loops of the stitches. Uh-oh. No. And don't pull this really tight because it'll close the hole up even more. You don't want to do that. So we can snip that off. So you'll just need to make it all pretty. So what it does, it actually makes it look like you've got 4 rounds of petals, but we cheated. So that would be in the middle. Kind of have to use your imagination. That will be in the middle because it will be sewn to a project, and that will be your button. And you can make as many different colours of these as you like. Maybe if you used a white button and then a white, say a white headband or something like that, or a hat, you sew your button to your project. So you sew that to your hat or your scarf or your bag or headband, and then you just button on your flower, and you've got a changeable flower. So I think that's awesome. That is so cute. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. I love it when I come up with new ideas that really, they get me excited. I mean, I like all my projects, but this one is really cute and really pretty. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. There's always plenty more videos to come. It even looks good from the side. Plenty more videos to come. We have 2 video tutorials each week. We also have a newsletter on Bob Wilson 123. All the links that you need, including the free written pattern and for Red Heart yarn, is in the description box. This is located usually below the video or to the side when you're watching it on YouTube. I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, happy crochet!